everyone. Today we're gonna roll the feet out. This video is directed at dancers, but it's also extremely valuable for pretty much anybody. Athletes, people who stand all day, fitness enthusiasts, anyone who wears shoes that don't have a lot of support, and really anybody. Our feet need TLC, just like anything else, and this is a great way to do it. I've also created a video that's much shorter than this, so for days when you are pressed for time, refer back to that one. But when you have extensive time to roll your feet, why not? It's something you can do while you watch TV, read a book even. You could get some emails done on your phone while you stand and roll your feet. So make sure you're giving those feet a lot of care and love. Dancers, I'm going to address you for just a moment and really encourage you to do this every single day before you take class. You will notice a tremendous difference. You'll be able to work better with your feet, and because your feet are working at their full capacity, you'll be less prone to injury. So really helpful to roll those feet. As always, I've got 3 different types of balls. My favorite is a lacrosse ball. It's pretty hard. It doesn't have a lot of give to it. I know I bought mine for $2.99 at Dick's Sporting Goods. They're really easy to find. So this is my #1 choice. But if you don't have a lacrosse ball and you happen to have a tennis ball, awesome choice as well. A tennis ball has a little bit more give to it. It's a little squishier, so it's not going to do quite as deep of a job massaging the feet. And then finally we've got racket balls, which you can see are the squishiest of the lot. So if you've got really sensitive feet or if your feet are sore, this might be a better option. So let's go ahead and get to it. I'm going to use my lacrosse ball. So this particular sequence is done standing. So you're going to start with the ball right in that depression, that crease where your toes and the ball of the foot come together. And you're going to start right underneath your big toe. So you want to make sure that this joint that brings the toe and the ball of the foot together is right on the center of your ball. So your toe is kind of coming off that front edge, the ball of the foot is starting to curve over the back edge. And then you're just going to bear down. Now throughout this sequence you're going to find times when this is not comfortable. Couple of options. You can pull out of it a little bit so you're not pushing quite so far down into the ball. You can also use breathing techniques, deep breathing and stuff to work through it, but in the long run you're going to feel great. So let's go ahead and roll behind the second toe, or you can kind of think of second and third toes together. And again, you're just going to bear down. You will notice that if you look down that this top of the foot, right where the toes and the ball come together, is stretching out. Sometimes it gets a little white. That's just because it's stretching. No big deal there. And then you can spend as long as you want in each position. You want to try to stay long enough to get a sense of release in those muscles before you move on. In the interest of time today, I'm going to move a little faster. So let's go ahead and roll behind the fourth and fifth toes and stretch out that outer edge of the foot. And again, you're just bearing down. You're pressing as much weight into that ball as you can and breathing. And it's really easy to do this with your upper body, so make sure you stand up nice and tall. Maybe have something at eye level that you can look at. And then once you feel like you've paid attention to all of those little segments, you're just going to rock the ball back and forth in that depression, in that crease where the toes and the ball of the foot come together. And again, you want to try to bear down with pretty significant weight. And then you're going to come onto the ball of the foot itself. And the very first thing you're going to do, bring it right into the center of the ball of your foot and just bear down and feel the top of your foot stretch out. So the top of the foot is stretching out while we're getting into some of the muscles on the underside of the foot. We'll stay here for as long as you like, and then you're just going to draw little circles throughout the ball of the foot. This is where your ball may pop out and you may have to run and get it. or you just may have to reposition your foot, but really try to get to those outer edges. And again, you would stay here and do this as long as you like. And then this is my favorite part. I'm gonna turn slightly sideways so you can see. I'm gonna gently start to move my way down the inner edge of my arch. So I'm just moving incrementally, little by little, pressing down as much as is comfortable for me. And every time I feel a point of tension, like a knot, something that's really tight, I'm just gonna sit there for a while. And you're just gonna keep very gently, very slowly, moving your way down the inner edge of your arch. And then when you get to the top of your heel, or just prior to rolling onto your heel, that's where you wanna stop. And then you're gonna just rock back and forth along that line as many times as you need to. And remember to breathe. Good. And then go ahead and take it back up to the top, just underneath the ball of your foot, but now right in the center. And you're just gonna roll gently down the center of your foot. And again, you're gonna stop if you find any tight places, knots, points of tension, and just hold and breathe until they begin to kind of spread out and dissipate. Take your time, take as much time as you need, and when you get to that spot that's just before you hit the heel, that's where you stop, and then we just rock back and forth, right up the center of your foot. And you can always pause again if you find a knot that hasn't quite worked its way out or needs a little bit more love. Go back to it again. And then finally, we'll do the same thing with the outer edge of the foot. So you're kind of starting underneath the 4th and 5th toes. And you're just gently making your way down. This is usually the part of the foot that surprises people. We expect a lot of tension in what we think of as the arch, but we don't expect a lot of tension along the outer edge of the foot. Once you arrive just above the heel, little rocks. Take as much time as you need. And then you're just going to do little circles around the whole center of your foot. You can revisit the ball of the foot if you like. You can revisit that connection between toes and the ball of the foot. Just make sure everything feels really nice and loose. And then finally, you're just going to place your heel squarely on the ball. So the ball is literally sitting under the center of your foot. And then you're gonna put as much weight into the ball as you possibly can. So you can see I've pretty much lifted this opposing foot up off the floor. I've just gotten the ball of my foot down for balance purposes. And I'm pressing as much weight in as I can. And again, you're not gonna feel intense sensation necessarily, but you will feel those muscles in the heel just kind of spread out. And you would stay here as long as you like, and then you do just a nice little circle around. And then you can come back and you can revisit any part of the foot that feels like it still needs a little bit more rolling out. And then before you move to the second foot, I highly recommend you walk around your space a little bit and just feel the difference between the 2 feet, the one you've rolled and the one you haven't. Maybe do some eleves, maybe do some tendus, do a little jump preparation, and just see the difference between how the 2 feet feel, and then move on and roll that second foot. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, Lexi, L-E-X-I, at Pure Alignment for Dancers, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.